Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, YouTube proudly brings to you the best sports podcast in the world. Myself, Leon Macon. We got the man, Anthony Smith, the one and only Tyler Macon. We are not the New Age Outlaws. We are M&M Sports Lounge. Thanks for joining us again today. The new year, new us. What do you think, boys?
I'm excited. I'm pumped. We start the intro like that every one time. I'm all down.
Had to do something crazy for 2023. Had to ring in the new year somehow. With that being said, we're going back to the roots. Start, bench, cut. Here we go again. This one's going to be a little more different today, though. The first couple are going to be teams. So I'm going to give y'all 3 teams. You start, bench, cut those teams. And the others are going to be just regular players. Kind of like I said, sticking to the old roots here. So we're going to jump right into it. Once again, we thank you for clicking on the video. You're hitting the bells. You're being notified when we post. So we love you and appreciate you for that. That's good enough. First, foremost, here we go. We're going to start with some NBA action here.
Sure.
We got the 95-96 Chicago Bulls. We have the 16-17 Golden State Warriors. This is the 67-15 team. This is not the 73-9 team. This one won the championship. And then we have the 71-72 Los Angeles Lakers. So what I did was I looked up best NBA teams ever. And these were the top 3. So the Chicago Bulls went 72-10, was the record for a while until the Warriors broke it in 73-9. But like I said, that's not the team here. 16-17 Warriors. That's when Kevin Durant, Clay, Steph, Draymond. Who was there? Is that Zaza Pachulia, I guess, holding down the middle? Was that him, or was it DeMarcus Cousins here?
I think so, because I think that was also the year Kawhi got injured before he went to Toronto the next. So I think so. You want to go first, Tyler?
Yeah, you spazzed out.
But you started for a second. You went a little. You started lagging a little bit. No, you're good now.
Okay.
So
sorry, I think that was the year from Zaza, but go ahead.
The Bulls are 72-10. The Warriors were 67-15. The Lakers were 69-13.
Yeah, and I may be wrong. I think that was the Lakers team that went for 33 games straight without losing a game.
Might be.
So that would have been, Jerry West, Gail Goodrich, Elgin. Wilt probably was there at this point.
Yeah, this was late in his career, so he probably would be there.
Obviously the record of 69-13 is better than 67-15, but I think I'm going to cut the 71-72 Lakers. I would probably start the 16-17 Warriors.
Yeah, Wilt was there, by the way. Sorry to interrupt.
Right. I would probably start the 16-17 Warriors because as much as I like the 95-6 Bulls, the spacing difference in the Warriors team versus that Bulls team, I mean, you'd have at that point their center, whoever it was, would have to guard, probably Draymond Green or Zaza, and they'll stretch the floor out more than Kevin Duckworth or Mark Eaton. So I'm going to start the Warriors, bench the Bulls, and cut the Lakers.
So I think I'm going to do something similar. I'm cutting the Lakers. I think that was my easy go-to. So the reason I understand why Tyler's saying, as a whole, I don't think there's ever been a team that's been better assembled, for a superstar, Hall of Fame player, basically on 3/5 of the court 4/5 if you think Draymond is going to be in the Hall of Fame. I know most people do think that is. Some people say he's not, but like they basically have 4 Hall of Famers. Because I think Clay is going to get in. I think Steph's going to get in. Obviously, Kevin Durant's going to get in. Draymond is the only really fringe player.
I don't
that
think
would be
Draymond
like-
will be first ballot, but I think he'll definitely be. He'll make it eventually. I think.
I think honestly, it depends on what his year is, who he's got to compete against. He might make it in on the first ballot.
If he ever wins a DPOY, then that'll just kind of solidify him a little more.
So at that point, I can't rationalize not starting the Golden State Warriors in that scenario and then benching the Bulls.
I'm gonna start the Lakers just to be odd. Might as well.
Okay.
I think the Lakers, that team, dogs the other 2 teams, and just they run away with it. Here's what I'll do. I'll put them. I'll go to 2K and I'll put them in a simulation, and I'll let you know whether the Bulls or the Warriors are either the left shoe and the right shoe of that stinking Lakers team, because they're just gonna walk all over them, Mister. I don't even.
Oh wow,
care.
that's a good one.
Get
Okay,
out of
cool.
here. Get out of
So
here.
the only way they're gonna get walked.
I'm gonna start the
You
Lakers and cut
play.
the other 2. Forget it.
So you're just cutting both. Okay.
I don't even want them. I don't even want those guys.
Okay, yeah.
I
The
don't
only
know
way
who
they can
Michael
walk.
George is. I don't know who Michael
Oh,
George
word.
is.
Okay.
Scott Pippen, who? I don't know.
God.
Scott.
That feels
Scott.
wrong.
Scott Pippen. So,
What's the next team?
well, geez, jumping right into it. I see you're eager to go. Here we go.
I'm raring to go.
You must have known this was going to be some NFL.
Thank God.
Here we go. Here we go. Tyler, I'm sorry. But, so here we go. This is why I wrote down on the board, as I was saying before. This is similar to what I did to the one before. So this one, I look at the best defensive NFL teams are of all time, the best defenses. And I was given the 1985 Chicago Bears. I was given the 2000 Baltimore Ravens, and I was given the 1976 Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steel curtain, baby.
So I'll break it down for you, and then I'll show you the board. The 85 Bears team, they went 15-1 that year. I'm pretty sure they had old Jim McMahon quarterbacking for them, if I'm not mistaken. They allowed 12.4 points per game. They allowed 4.4 yards per possession. They caused 54 turnovers and had 64 sacks that year.
That's incredible. Wow.
The Ravens were 12-4 this year. They allowed 10.3 points per game, which is 2 points less than the Bears. 4.3 yard per possession, which is basically the same as the Bears. 49 turnovers and 35 sacks, which is both less than the Bears. But that one is worse. Being less than those is worse. And that Steelers team, they went 10-4. They allowed 9.9 points per game. So they allowed the least points per game, and also allowed the least yards per possession at 3.8 yards. They had 46 turnovers and 41 sacks. Can you see that all right?
Yes.
So you can kind of don that. Look at that a little bit if you want.
I think I'm good. I think I kind of already had an idea as soon as you said like who I would have ranked first defense because I knew one of them was going to be on there. So I can go first if you want me to, Tyler.
Go for it.
So that Ravens defense, the 2003 Ravens defense, had a very young Ray Lewis, still athletically in his prime, not what we would know him as a leader later. It was more of instincts. That also was a Ravens team which would have two different players win Defensive Player of the Years back-to-back years. Ray Lewis won it first, and Reed won it next. So their turnovers and sacks are going to be less because they just weren't on the field very much to begin with. So it depends on how you valued what you look for in a defense. If you look for something that smothers you and gives any quarterback a chance to win, you have to pick Steelers, the Iron Curtain, or the Ravens from the 2000s. The Chicago Bears, they were flashier, right? So they were a flashier one because of all the sacks, because of all the turnovers. I do think if you had it like which is a better defense, I think you technically have to cut the Chicago Bears, which is a wild take because of the amount. I would bench the Steelers because it was really their front pressure that was really good. They didn't really have a lot of DBs that came out. Like I don't think there was a DB that made the Hall of Fame from that generation. And then I would pick Ravens to start. I just don't think there was a better defense that has ever existed. I think they are the standard of what you want from a defense. Yeah, they didn't get a lot of turnovers and stuff. They didn't need it a lot of the times because it was a lot of 3 and outs. So there's not a lot of opportunities to ball hawk. There's not a lot of opportunities to sack the quarterback because they've already been sacked and they're already out of the game, basically. So that's my pick. Start Ravens, bench Steelers, cut Bears, which is a wild statement because the Bears, these are the 3 best defenses I think I've ever played.
The Bears were so good during that year, they recorded a song called the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Yeah, that
Which
was
is why I'm starting the Chicago Bears. Because of said song. Once you listen to it, you'll never listen to another song in your life.
Oh my God.
You see the Fridge on there singing.
say that's what William Perry is.
He's busting it down. Jim McMahon's up there. He's giving them the business. So I'm going to start the stinking Chicago Bears and bench the Steelers and cut the Ravens. Get them out of here. I want to see Anthony's neck twitch whenever I say that.
I can't believe not my neck twitch. I can't believe there's a list that doesn't have the Ravens. Like the only thing I could have argued for was maybe you cut the Steelers. But that's crazy. Outlandish. Go ahead, Tyler.
That's not crazy to me.
I definitely as good as the song is, and
you haven't heard the song, have you?
I have heard the song.
Oh, sorry,
I have not, and I'm not going to.
You're going to have to listen to after this, and then in the next episode, I want you to admit that the Bears are a better defensive team than after you listen to the song.
I will never admit the Bears are better.
What was the song the Ravens recorded that year? Oh, they didn't.
You mean they won a Super Bowl ring?
They didn't. So sorry, Tyler. Go ahead. I've spoke my piece.
Good Lord. Yeah, as good as the song is, and as good as that team was, I'm also going to cut the Bears.
Y'all are terrible.
And I agree with everything Anthony said about E.D. Reed and Ray Lewis and that Ravens defense, but I'm gonna bench the Ravens.
E.D. Reed.
Yeah, Ed
Reed. E.D. Reed, boy.
That's what I like to hear.
And then I'm gonna start the Steel Curtain Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh yeah.
Only slight bias.
It's one of the very few ones where all 3 of us picked a different one. Although I'm a little concerned in Leon's motivation for his pick.
My mind is perfectly clear why I want him.
Sure you're still hungover from yesterday?
No. Ruin the Super Bowl Shuffle. Okay, so here's an easy one just so I can write some more stuff down.
Okay.
Magic Bird Jordan. Y'all discuss over that one. While I write stuff down for the next one.
Magic Bird Jordan, or did you say Magic Johnson?
So yeah, Magic Johnson,
Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. The cover of the Dream Team.
I don't know. I grew up hearing that Larry Bird was just a great player. I never got to see a lot of that.
That's the Dick from French Lick, Anthony.
No, I apologize. I knew way more about Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan growing up. I don't understand how to really rank like what you look for in like the greatest of all time like debate, because obviously like Magic and Larry are not like they're for most people's list they're like top 10, right? Like I see them at least somewhere in the top 10. Michael is universally worst second on the list. Pretty casually, unless you're Nick Wright and you have him at like third. I don't know if we can really make an argument for that, but that's fine. I'm always going, so I'm gonna bench Magic, start Jordan, cut Larry Bird. Now, what I will say, Larry Bird's got that dog in him because he's like, don't have someone white guard me, and I've never known how to. I was like, oh, this is my type of dude.
Yeah, Michael is at this moment in time, LeBron is great. Michael is the best player of all time.
You think so?
Yeah, I really do.
All right, this is a whole discussion for another time. We've probably already had it.
But I'm going to bench Michael Jordan. I'm going to cut Magic Johnson. I'm going to start Larry Bird.
Because he had 8, wasn't it? That's why.
So do you think Larry Bird is?
Don't even start that. What were you saying, Anthony? I'm sorry.
Do you think Larry Bird is better than LeBron James?
No, he's not.
Well, I think that depends on what you want, right? I think in terms of obviously
for the player they are. If you were picking a team, if you said, okay, you have these 3 players to draft, all right, like that you get the first pick, me or Liam will get the second and third. Obviously, we're gonna get an all-time great. Doesn't really matter. I'll take the third pick actually. So you get the first pick to the board. You can take Larry. You can take LeBron. You can take Michael. Who are you taking?
Oh, I mean, if I'm building a team, I'm probably taking Michael for my number one pick. To be honest, I'm taking Michael for my number 1 pick.
Then I'll take LeBron for my second pick. You can have Larry Bird, Anthony.
That's fine.
I love Larry Bird.
I think, in terms of physicality, getting to the basket, and probably passing ability, Larry was a great passer, but LeBron's got him beat. In terms of sheer athleticism, Larry was not exactly an athletic freak, right?
No.
Dude was slow. Dude was a little big. But in terms of pure
fatter
shooting,
Dirk.
and a little shorter, right? But in terms of, he was a little more athletic than Dirk. Dirk was pretty slow. But in terms of pure shooting, in terms of clutch ability, Larry Bird all day long.
Now, I'm pretty sure I have a list here somewhere of people with the most buzzer beaters ever made, and Larry Bird's not on the list, and LeBron is.
Clutch is more than
you're saying Larry Bird is better than LeBron James.
Again, I didn't say that. I said I think that depends on what you're looking for in terms of athleticism.
So,
LeBron,
but you're saying Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James.
Yes.
Why?
Defensive Player of the Year, 6 rings, dunk contest champion.
Great guy.
The rings don't matter. So when LeBron was a Defensive Player of the Year, I'll put him up there.
Oh, you said the rings don't matter.
People say the rings don't matter. I think championships matter. We had that whole discussion, right? Winning matters.
But you would say Larry Bird's better than LeBron James.
I didn't
and
say.
LeBron's got more rings than Larry, so obviously he's already better than.
But I didn't say those words.
Yeah, Bill Russell's the best player ever.
I mean,
he's not even close. Robert Horry's next.
No, he's not. Casey Jones or Sam Jones and all those guys are.
Casey Jones. Whatever. Yeah,
could you imagine some guy who was just on the team with Bill Russell being like, you know what? I think I should have a conversation for the greatest of all time.
Guys like Bill Russell.
I was on those teams with
like,
him. I don't have that many rings.
Bill's over there coaching. I'm playing. He's sitting on the sideline telling us what to do. Yeah. But yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna start Jordan and bench Magic and cut Larry. Sorry, get out here. Okay. Segueing on. Speaking of Larry Bird, this next thing has nothing to do with him.
Okay.
So here we go. We're back to NFL, Anthony. Don't worry.
Thank God.
So this one, it's a pretty similar case as the first two. I looked up some of the best wide receivers that have ever played the game. and I've taken 4 people that with similar stat lines, kind of, and that kind of that are similar, like I said. So I came up with Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Steve Largent, and Andre Johnson. And I took the liberty of getting all their stats as well. So Jerry Rice has played. I'll show you. You can read as I'm talking. Can you read that?
Yes.
Jerry Rice has played 303 games, 1,549 receptions for 22,895 yards, and has 197 touchdowns. Randy Moss has played 218 games, 982 receptions, 15,292 yards, 156 touchdowns. Steve Largent, 200 games, 819 receptions for 13,089 yards, 100 touchdowns. And Andre Johnson, 193 games played, 1,062 receptions for 14,185 yards, 70 touchdowns. So you have a start, bench, cut, and then you can trade a guy. Or you can start, bench, and then cut too, if you want, I guess.
So I'll go first because my football knowledge is significantly smaller than both of yours. So I'm going to look solely at stats. And Andre Johnson doesn't even belong on the list, so he's gone.
So why is that?
Well, let's see. 70 touchdowns is 30 less than the next smallest, and it's 177 less than Jerry Rice.
Well,
he's not really. He's kind of on an island of his own, I believe, with that.
Yeah, I think the other 3 are the same.
Okay, look, man, I just picked some over.
So I'm cutting Andre Johnson. I'm waiving Andre Johnson. Matter of fact,
I don't even want him.
I'm going to cut. I think you said his first name, Steve Largent.
Steve Largent.
Less yards, less touchdowns. 18 less games, but also 100, a little over, almost 180 less receptions.
Yeah, 170.
So I'm going to bench Randy Moss and start Jerry Rice.
I'm the same, by the way.
I think I'm going to trade, I guess. I'm going to cut Largent. I'm actually going to trade Johnson, bench Randy, start Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is he is another player that I would hear arguments from. Still think it's Deion, but I would hear arguments from why he is the best player in the NFL, period. The only thing that I think will ever stop Jerry from getting in that conversation, because his numbers compared to the next best wide receiver are gaudy. Quarterback numbers, they're all pretty close between the top 5, right? They're all going to have different varying numbers. Linebackers, and corners, all that. Jerry Rice is the only player at his position where there's so much of a gap that you could split his careers into 2 and still be a Hall of Fame career. So it's hard to say. I would listen to an argument for Jerry Rice being the best. I still, again, Deion, but yeah, I don't think there's a list that exists where they're not starting Jerry Rice.
Sorry, I lost you when you brought back Deion Sanders up.
The best defensive player ever. Just so we're clear, and probably the best player ever.
I feel like it's really hard in football to have a best player in football because.
Well, it's definitely not Deion Sanders. It's quite simply put.
I won't take a list seriously if they don't have him at least in the top 5. Because you're right. What are you looking for? What would you draft first? What would you want to build around?
Not Deion Sanders.
It's if you say, so let's entertain your argument, right? So Deion Sanders is the best defensive player. Jerry Rice is the best offensive player. You can't really compare them because they did 2 completely different jobs.
I don't even know how Deion Sanders got.
No, I think you could compare him because Deion the only games Jerry Rice ever did bad for Jerry Rice was against Dion. No other corner. They had to send 2 people to guard him. It wasn't like front where they had to cut 2 like directly in front of him, but it was a similar like that. Jerry always had safety coverage over the top of him because there was no other choice. He would get 300 yards a game if you didn't do that. Dion was the only person who could guard him one-on-one and be like, you're not going to have that great game. Maybe 70 yards, 80 yards. You might catch 1 ton on me, but you're not going to break the game. And Dion was the only player to ever do that. So it's that one, I think you can compare a little bit more. Like, I can't compare quarterback to like a running back because I think that's a silly argument, right? Because they do completely different things, right?
Lamar Jackson.
But Dion did guard Jerry.
Lamar Jackson is him. He does them both. Lamar Jackson is a running back.
No, he's a quarterback who can run.
Which one?
Interesting. Go ahead. Do you hate Lamar because he beat your Titans? Is that what that's from? Is that
I hate Lamar because he doesn't know what position he's playing.
He's just fast as fuck, boy. He's just fast.
Well,
There it is. We'll put a check on the wall or whatever.
Okay, no, because you both did it like if we compared the list, I'm actually at the least.
It's probably because Deion Sanders was brought back up again. I'm probably about to start spitting some more out here in a second. So
Which problem you can don't listen to them. They know not what
we're
they're
leaving
doing.
it in the past. I don't ever. From now on, I never want to hear Kendrick Perkins, Tavo Cephalosha, and Deion Sanders ever brought up.
I agree with the Kendrick Perkins. I agree with that.
Tavo Cephalosha was trash. I don't ever want to talk about him ever again. I didn't like him. We could have had so much better. Kevin Martin was way better. Should have played.
yeah, Andre Roberson was totally just an upgrade, right?
We're not even talking about Andre Roberson either. We can throw him in the pot too. I don't care. And Delonte West. Never talk about him. Okay, lastly, what I have wrote down, and we'll see if we have more time after this. We could do something else, I guess. I'm taking us all out of our comfort zone here. We're doing baseball again. We see how we do the baseball teams on the Sporkle quiz here a little while ago. So this is kind of we have a recurring theme right now. ESPN made a list of the top 100 MLB players ever, and I picked the top 3 guys that were active on the list because I didn't really know what else to do. It was
no, that's fair.
All the people that they had like in the top 10 were all like black and white pictures, and I'm sure y'all had never heard of them. So
was one Babe Ruth and like Lou Gehrig?
Well, Babe Ruth was number 1, they say.
Okay.
And then there's like Lefty Kostanowicz and a bunch of names like that, like Farmer Joe.
Good God. Okay.
But these are the top 3. Now, they still had Pujols active on the list, but I didn't pick him because he's now quit or retired.
He's like retiring going into next year.
So here's what I got for you. Miguel Cabrera, Mike Trout, and Clayton Kershaw.
Is Miguel Cabrera still active?
I think so. I'm pretty sure he is, but he's getting right there at it if he's not. That's why I was trying to look it up. I couldn't really tell.
So just to clarify, Miguel Cabrera is the catcher, correct?
No. He's not a catcher.
Okay, then Mike Trout was the fielder, the outfielder.
Yeah.
And Kershaw was the pitcher, correct?
He's my pitcher, yeah, for the Dodgers.
So who's Miguel Cabrera?
He plays for the Tigers.
He's for the Tigers, yeah. He's the first baseman.
He's like, see, the reason I even bring up him being active is they did a thing for him and Pujols with this last All-Star game where they made them both like honorary All-Stars. And they basically just like, I think they basically just like were DHs.
Right here it says Miguel Cabrera indicates 2023 will be his last season as player.
So he'll come back from.
Oh, okay. So he's got 1 more year. Okay.
He did play for the Tigers, yeah. But then I went to look up their stats to tell them to you, but I couldn't really do it because Kershaw's a pitcher, so he's not going to have all the running stats and hitting stats like the other boys would. So,
This one won't be easy for me.
oh no, it's not. It wouldn't. I didn't do it to be easy. Next time I'm going to do NASCAR drivers, just to kind of start throwing some things out of left field at you. I'm going to start Clayton Kershaw. By the way, I'm just going to go out on a limb, start Clayton Kershaw. I'll bench Mike Trout and cut Miguel Cabrera. That's probably pretty insane. But and also I have what they were listed on ESPN's top 100 list as well. So y'all can kind of guess that as well if you want.
I'm gonna guess after I make my list.
Yeah, go ahead. So that's my list, by the way.
So Kershaw. So from what I understood from Kershaw, right, he was a pitcher. He was a great pitcher like during the regular season, right? But when he got to the playoffs is when he started to struggle. Is that correct? Or is that opposite?
No, that's perfectly you nailed it there. That's
right, because he won the World Series within the last few years. But the argument against him, right, was that he never could win.
Yeah, because we went to several. Just they're in the span.
He just couldn't win them.
No. Or we're
Mike Trout is what I think a face of a franchise needs to look like for the MLB. So I'm actually going to comparatively, because I'm gonna be honest with you, this is not Miguel Cabrera's fault. I don't know who he is, so I'm cutting him. Mike Trout is on an awful team run by an awful general manager, so I think that contributes to it because you can't have one of the best batters and then the best two-way player on a team and be that awful at your game. But I do have to hold that against Mike Trout a little bit because he is playing, so I'm going to bench him, and then I'm also starting Kershaw.
We
just went through a pretty rough patch in the last what we just talked about with Deont. Who shall not be named. I like you, Anthony.
The best.
You're pretty sweet.
Regardless of poor management, Mike Trout is the best baseball player in the MLB at this moment in time.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I am starting Mike Trout. I think if you're basing if we say we're basing on not today because obviously baseball's not in season right now, but if you're basing it off of last season, I mean you cut Miguel Cabrera anyway because he's old, but
only 39 years old.
I mean, but that's old for sports. Like that's not old in the scheme of life, but that's old for sports.
No, not all sports. That's old for basketball and football.
Hit baseball, dude.
I think baseball is the only sport you can really push it out farther than any of the other sports.
Golf, dude. Golf is
fine. That have been in their 40s, but still old. Like if you retire at 45, that means that puts him 6 years away. Like that's still old for sports.
Yeah, but still, go ahead. Sorry.
So I am also cutting Miguel Cabrera, but I'm bitching Clayton Kershaw.
So where do you think they listed these guys at top 100?
Oh, I'm gonna say Miguel Cabrera is 17, Mike Trout is 20, and Clayton Kershaw is 36.
So I think Mike Trout is too high ranked because he's not young into his career anymore, but he hasn't accomplished anything. I'm gonna put Mike Trout around the 60s. I think Kershaw is gonna get love because he recently won the World Series, so that isn't held against him. But the whole thing against him was the playoffs, so I'm gonna put him somewhere in the 40s, and then I'm gonna put Miguel Cabrera in the top 20, like 20 down.
Y'all are nowhere near close.
Really?
Yeah.
What's my Trout rate? Right.
So nobody's ranked more than 60. If you want to,
really, that's wrong. Okay.
So they're somewhere between 60 and 1. These guys are. So if you want to retry.
Wait. So they're not less than 60.
They are less than 60, I guess. They're
yeah, but they're not under 60. They're not 1 to 100.
They're not 60 to 100. They're not in that span. They are 60 and down.
Really? So they're ranked higher than what we thought, or at least what
Sorry, it always confuses me saying that kind of thing.
No, you're good. You're good. So they are closer to 100.
Closer to 1. Well, not really. So, well,
All right.
Interesting.
I'll just tell you, you wore me down.
Okay, yeah, where's it at?
Who do
Tell me
you,
Mike Trout first.
so who do y'all think is ranked the best out of the 3?
Miguel Cabrera.
I would also say Miguel Cabrera.
He's actually ranked the worst technically.
Fair enough.
He's ranked 59th.
Okay.
Kershaw is ranked 52nd. And Mike Trout is ranked 15th.
15th.
Mm-hmm. And Pujols was ranked 33, I think, was the correct number.
I don't get that because Mike Trout hasn't made a deep playoff run. I don't even know if Mike Trout is the best on his team.
No, but he is. But his hitting stats are crazy too.
His hitting stats are crazy, but I think Shohei Ohtani is actually. I would rather have Shohei than Mike Trout.
All time or right now?
All time.
No, get out of here.
And right now.
His career's not long enough to compare. Consistency versus a short period, I think, is important.
Mike Trout has been a 3-time MVP, 10-time All-Star, 2-time All-Star MVP,
Mhm.
a 9-time Silver Slugger, and he was a Rookie of the Year.
How do they base Rookie of the Year? Is it off of how many games you played in your first year as an MLB player?
I think it's just your first year.
So even like the minor leagues will get counted.
No.
He
no.
won it in 2012, technically.
I think it's just majors.
Okay.
Yeah, it is, by the way. But yeah, he's had 350 home runs in his career.
Do you think that's a little bit of projection then? Because I mean, the other stats, home runs, not anything to sneeze at, but that's kind of lower on the list. They're projecting where he is going to end up. Like after he finally hangs it up, he was the 15th best player of all time. Or do you think that's where they view him right now? There are only 14 players.
Right now.
That's so wild.
14 above him.
Huh?
Who are the 14 above him?
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Ortiz, maybe. Depending on if they put Barry Bonds or Roger Clemens because of everything else. God, I don't even know.
Okay, here we go. 14, Greg Maddux. 13, King Griffey Jr. 12, Honus Wagner. 11, Pedro Martinez. 10, Stan Musial. 9, Walter Johnson. 8, Barry Bonds. 7, Mickey Mantle. 6, Lou Gehrig. 5, Ted Williams. 4, Ty Cobb. 3, Hank Aaron. 2, Willie Mays. 1, Babe Ruth.
We knew all those.
Well, earlier it was
I knew most of those.
different.
Some of them I didn't know. I don't think I knew who the fourth player was.
Ty Cobb.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Did he play for the Mariners?
Ty Cobb?
Mhm.
Played a while ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Probably no. Okay.
So, but yep, that was us. Next time on the show, we're going to be discussing Mount Rushmores. So y'all are going to want to be tuned in for that. So hope everyone has a great new year. Thanks for watching the video. Boys, have anything